Our firm handles a variety of complex litigation cases, personal injury, business litigation, real estate, and succession litigation. We pledge to our clients that each client's case will be considered the most important case that we have.
Our client is our top priority at this firm. What we want to do is make sure we take the worry off of their shoulders and let them breathe a sigh of relief and let them focus on getting better. And then be their advocate throughout that process, but also give them a fair assessment of what is going on and a fair assessment of their case. And then we obtain the maximum recovery that allows them to put things back the way they should be.
We like to take a personal approach with our clients. We want to form a relationship with them that extends into the future and does not limit itself to just this particular legal issue that we're handling.
Anyone who walks in our office should expect, whether they have $50 or $5 million, to be treated like they're the most important client this firm has.
They're not just a file number. They're going to meet with our staff. We're going to know their first names. They're going to know our first names. We're going to be together throughout this entire process.
The approach I've taken to all of my clients' cases and problems is to think about it as though it was my own problem and how I would want it handled if I were walking into a law office. And that approach has served our clients well, and it's also served this firm well.
I handle all types of family law cases, including divorce, child custody, child support modification, adoptions, DSS actions against individuals, anything to do with families. Being a small solo practitioner, that is key because of the emotions, because I can devote the time to the client, and I do that. It's important to have a one-on-one relationship when you're going through the most difficult emotional time in your life, to have contact with the lawyer so that the lawyer knows who they're representing. It's important for me, and it's important to my clients.
Well, the firm is an artist-oriented firm, and we think that's important because the artists can always know that we're not selling them out down the river for some big corporation that pays us higher fees. We're not afraid to do battle with the labels on their behalf. We don't care whether the guy running Sony Records likes us or not. We prefer if he likes us, but if it's in our client's interest for him not to like us, fine. Creative people need our help because their time is better spent creating than it is dealing with numbers, law, contracts, accountings. Our clients never have to worry. We're always on their side.
In order to be eligible for workers' compensation benefits, you must be an employee of the organization you work for. You also must be in the course and scope of your employment. In addition to the typical injuries of neck and back or joint injuries, workers can also sustain injuries that are specific losses. For instance, an injured worker might sustain a loss of an arm, loss of a finger, or loss of an eye, or even hearing loss. These are all specific losses and are compensated above and beyond any disability. Work-related injuries encompass not just physical injuries, but mental injuries as well. To make sure that you're getting the most appropriate benefit, including maximizing your medical care, you need to make sure that your description of injury is accurate. An appropriate diagnosis is the very first thing. If you've been injured at work, notify your employer, specifically your supervisor, about your work-related injury. Notice is a key requirement under the Workers' Compensation Act. You have 120 days to notify your employer about your work-related injury. It's never too late to call an attorney, but you should call me as soon as possible so that I can maximize your recovery. You need a workers' compensation lawyer if you have a work-related injury. The Workers' Compensation Act is extremely complex, and unless you have an attorney, you may not know what you're getting or where you're going. If you receive an offer and you don't have a lawyer, chances are you're not getting the maximum amount of money that you deserve. Unless you have a lawyer, you won't know whether you're getting the right amount of benefits, you won't know where to take the case, and you won't know how to end it up. There are people that dabble in everything. They're not specialists. I'm a specialist. This is what I do. It's exclusively what I do. I don't do anything else. I will make sure that you have the most amount and the appropriate benefit for your situation. Virtually every employee in Pennsylvania is covered under the Workers' Compensation Act. It basically provides two things: wage loss benefits for any time missed from work as a result of the accident, and medical benefits. When I take a case on, injured workers are getting the best representation they could possibly get. I am certified as a workers' compensation practitioner under the rules of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court for practice in the area of workers' compensation. Many times, clients receive benefits for the wrong description of injury. I will go in and reassess the description of the injury to make sure it's correct. We'll file the appropriate petitions to make sure that my clients get everything that they deserve, including all aspects of medical care for their injury. As far as wage loss goes, you're entitled to 2/3 of your gross average weekly wage generally. The benefit is not taxable, and sometimes you might be entitled to up to 90% of your pre-injury earnings, dependent on the amount of earnings you had at the time of injury. I don't get paid unless you get paid. If I am successful, the workers' compensation carrier or the employer will pay my costs over and above your award. My hero in my life has always been my grandfather. He was an assembly line worker for a bread manufacturing company, and he had a very difficult life. He worked the midnight to 8 a.m. shift for 40 years straight. I mean, that's really difficult. And he was always aware whenever there was an injured worker and would do everything he could to help them. He instilled upon me the value and the morals of helping people. Early on in my career, I represented a tractor-trailer driver that had flipped his rig on the highway and had suffered major injuries, was totally disabled, and was denied benefits because he had fallen asleep at the wheel. Based on the injustice of his denial of benefits, I represented him and was able to get him his benefits. And as a result of winning that case and the utmost appreciation that his family had for my representation, I decided that was my calling. I have over 20 years of experience in workers' compensation litigation. I know what's best for my clients, and I will maximize your recovery, whether we get a lump sum settlement or whether we continue your workers' compensation benefits. It's extremely important that my clients understand the process and what to expect. I instill the confidence that they don't have to worry about where they're going next, and I advise them on each and every step of the way, but more importantly, I give them an overview of the situation so that they have a reasonable expectation of where they're going.
When we're talking about family law, we are talking about divorce. We are talking about custody issues. We are talking about child support issues. We are talking about visitation issues on either being denied access with your child or setting up a schedule. We are talking about division of assets in the case of a divorce. We are talking about dividing debt in the case of a divorce. And in certain cases, we're talking about alimony after the divorce in certain kind of cases. We strive to be known as the best law firm that a person could seek to represent them in time of crisis. From a family law standpoint, their whole world is turned upside down. So we deal with people who are in crisis, and we try to help them through those crises.
The outcome of a sexual misconduct offense, and we're talking sexual misconduct, we're talking about sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, indecency with a child, internet sex crimes, solicitation of a minor, juvenile sex crimes. These types of cases are treated very, very seriously within our system. And it is incredibly important, whether it's me or somebody else that has the knowledge and experience to handle these kinds of cases, that an individual that's been accused of these types of crimes get representation immediately and get somebody on their side that knows exactly how to handle these types of situations. So when it comes to sex offenses, there is nothing more serious than this type of allegation. And here at our law firm, we have the experience, the knowledge, and the resources available to be able to fight those types of cases. My firm handles all kinds of drug charges, everything from the simplest of possession of marijuanas to first-degree felonies of manufacture and delivery of serious controlled substances. We also handle all state and federal drug cases, whether they are state charges or whether they are federal charges. We have experience in both arenas. If you've been charged on a drug case, we have the experience and the knowledge necessary here at this law firm to be able to help you not only long-term but immediately. Some people have loved ones that have been arrested and put in jail maybe facing bond issues, maybe facing situations that they need to post a bail to be able to get out of jail. We can handle your case, we can post bond, we can get people out of jail, and we can represent you from the very beginning of your case all the way to its resolution, which would also include potentially taking the case to court and fighting any allegations that cannot be proven by the DA's office or by the police.